I always tell people, and this is different areas because every market is going to be different. So if I speak from the Georgia market, I roughly spend around $5,500 on my properties.
Ooh, wee.
I roughly spend
Okay.
around $5,500, and I tell people this all the time. I say, look, the properties that I have bought, right, the properties that I have now, I am 100% debt free.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Money Moves with Kate. I'm Kate, and today we want to talk about mobile home investing with little to no money. I have a very special guest by the name of Abdul Shabazz, aka the Mobile Home Closer. He is going to run down A to Z how in the world we get started with this. So, without further ado, I'll kind of bring him into the stream. What's going on, Abdul?
Peace and blessings, sis. Everything is going well with myself. Miss K, how you doing, sis?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm so excited. I told my husband last night, actually, ever since I've contacted you, that I'm super, super excited about this interview because we too are interested in mobile home investing. So I'm gonna be jotting down notes. So if you see me look down, I'm writing notes as well.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
let's go ahead and get into it. So, how did you get started in mobile home investing?
Yes, ma'am. So, first and foremost, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart just for reaching out to me. Like I told you the other day, I eat, sleep, and breathe mobile homes. So, this is something that we do every single day. My story is a little unique. I know a lot of people, they have like this super struggle story about how they, stumbled across real estate. And my family have been in this game for over 20 years.
Mm.
So with them having that experience, my father always wanted me to be an entrepreneur. So when I was 5 years old, my father, he had me selling candy, right? And I always tell people that I said, that is the worst investment you can give a child is to, invest in some candy and tell them sell this candy at school. Cause I'm gonna tell you right now, I was eating every gum, every now later, every snicker. I was eating everything, right? But
Right.
my father, he wanted me to be an entrepreneur. At the age of 8 years old, I worked for my grandparents. They had one of the largest peanut business in Charleston, South Carolina. And from third grade all the way till I graduated, my parents did not have to pay for any of our school supplies, our clothes, nothing, because we were entrepreneurs at such a young age. So at 15, is whenever my father, he introduced me to mobile home investing.
Mm.
I was much more mature. He would bring me to the different mobile homes and he would say, Abdul, I want you to help me paint. Abdul, I want you to help me renovate this mobile home. Whenever he had disputes with his tenants, he would bring me along. So at an early age, I was able to learn how to build with my hands and I was able to articulate with the tenants, articulate my words and tell them, hey, we want you to do this. We don't want you to do this, right? I was able to do that at a young age, but things really didn't hit me until I was about 23. It really
Okay.
didn't hit me. I was working at a youth program, and when I was working at a youth program, I had an idea how they could actually advance their program. I
Mm.
was super into the youth, giving back to them. And I just saw that there was a burning desire that the youth had as far as to do more than what they were offering at that facility. And I said, okay, well, cool. I want to go ahead and I want to, add a little flavor to, what they already have established here. And so what happened was the owner came in one day and I pulled the owner to the side and I said, hey, look, I want to be able to add this in your program because I think it's going to help tremendously. He said, all right. He said, I'm with it. He told the director, he said, Abdul's going to be getting with you. Long story short, I got with the director and they got all of my information. I'm talking about all of the documents, everything that I had. They took that, made a program out of what I gave to them and then gave it to somebody else.
Mm.
So they took my entire program and gave it to somebody else. And that right there, that was the last straw for me. I called my pops and I just told my pop, I said, look, man, I got to get back in this mobile home swing. I got to get
Mm-hmm.
back in it. And all he did was just started laughing on the phone. He said, Abdul, I told you this. He said, once you turn 18, I told you to buy you a mobile home. Then once you pay it off, then go ahead and start flipping the mobile homes that you get after that. And I'm like, man, I know, Pops, I know. But I said, look, we ain't talking about the past. We talk about now, okay? I'm trying to get started now. And from there, my father had been with me every step of the way. Every question that I had about mobile homes, he was there to answer it until I was able to, stand on my two legs. And that's when I started running with the mobile home game. Now I've taught thousands of people all over the country how they can get involved in flipping mobile homes.
Absolutely. That's fantastic because I also preach generational wealth. So he already knew the plan. Sometimes we got to go through it. Like you said, you went all the way around just to come back to mobile homes because it is such a great investment. So for those who are listening, how much do you need to actually invest in mobile homes? Like what's a good starting point? Like what do they need? How much money?
Right. So I always tell people, and this is different areas because every market is going to be different. So if I speak from the Georgia market, I roughly spend around $5,500 on my properties.
Oh,
I roughly spend around $5,500. And I tell people this all the time. I say, look, the properties that I've bought, right? The properties that I have now, I am 100% debt free. I have nothing against real estate because I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of people that I'm constantly around that's heavily into real estate. But I always ask people this question. I say, would you rather be $300,000 in debt or would you rather spend $5,000 for a property that you have? And then also the property that you have, if you rent it out, you will be yielding sometimes the same exact amount of money that somebody who have a single family home, or you may be bringing in more money than them. So I just paint a picture and I'm like, everybody don't have $40,000 to buy a single family home plus $100,000 to renovate it. But I say a lot of people may have $5,000 inside their savings account. Or one thing I teach is actually coming together and pooling your resources together. If you have 2,500, Ms. K, I have 2,500, then now we have $5,000. We can get us a mobile home. And if we're charging $1,000 in rent, then now you get 500, I get 500. But the question you have to ask yourself is, what can an extra $500 pay inside of my house right now? So everything is all about passive income. And if your passive income is more than your total expenses, that's how you get out the rat race. So that's the mentality, the mindset that people must have whenever they go into this. So that's one of the things right there, sis.
So you went into it a little bit, but why do you choose? And I know why, because I heard it a little bit, but what your passion behind mobile homes, what is that? I know, and this kind of goes into another question. How long does it take to purchase a mobile home? For us, for instance, we're building a property. It's taking us 1.5 years, right? So that process is a long process. Renting is a hassle as well. It depends. So for you, what's your passion behind mobile homes? What's the pros to mobile home investing?
So there's a lot of pros when it comes down to mobile homes. I'm so passionate about it because, like I said, my partners that's heavily, they're doing like the refinance method with the single family homes. I'm looking at them. I'm like, man, that's excellent. But I'm like, you just can't really compare that to what mobile homes. Mobile homes have one of the greatest cash on cash returns. Okay. So let me tell you something right now. My very first mobile home that I got in Columbus, Georgia, I spent $800 for this mobile home. I put $3,000 into it to renovate the mobile homes. So renovating the mobile homes versus renovating a single family home is two different spectrums. It's totally different because the materials that is used in mobile homes is not the materials that you would use in a single family home. So therefore the cost to renovate an entire mobile home, I can do an entire mobile home for $5,000, $5,000 to maybe $10,000, right? That is totally different from a single family home. The next thing is going to be the taxes. On average, I spend about $70 a year. I don't think you heard me, sis. I don't think you heard me. $70 a year.
Game over right there. Yeah.
Let me tell you, the average single family home, they have to pay $3,500 a year, the average in taxes. I pay $70, right? You can literally go underneath your couch and find $70 right now if you wanted to. All right. You can calculate. So I know a couple of dollars that slipped in the couch, some change, right? You could find that money anywhere, right? And so those are two reasons, right? The renovation cost is significantly lower. The taxes are going to be significantly lower. But then the next thing is going to be when it comes time to purchasing. That was another one of your questions.
Right.
The same day that I see a mobile home is the same day I can purchase that mobile home. So now, once again, let's look at the average. Whenever you're buying a property, it's going to take you an average of 60 to 90 days to complete the transaction.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a person that have all your stuff together, it may take 30 days. If you just got all your bells and everything, your ducks in a row, may take you 30 days. Well, I can go right now outside of my house, see a mobile home, and purchase it the same exact day. Now the mobile home is mine. You can't do that with single family homes. Another, because I tell people all the time, I got a list for days of why this mobile home game is beneficial for me and my family. Some people may say, look, I don't want to touch it with a 10-stick pole, and that's 100% fine. But look at it like this. Mobile homes are considered another reason. Mobile homes considered personal property. They're not considered real estate property. However, some people may say, well, mobile homes is this, mobile homes is that. Mobile home depreciates, right? And that's why I don't want to touch it. I want something that's going to appreciate. So I always tell people, well, let's stop that notion right there, okay? So yes, mobile homes considered a personal property. Mobile homes does depreciate. However, let's look at the value side of mobile homes. My stepmother, she bought her mobile home in 1995. Listen to this. She bought a mobile home in 1995. She started renting her mobile home out in 2012. From 2012 to 2022, they already made $70,000 off that mobile home. Then she flipped that mobile home this year in February and made an extra $17,000.
Wow.
So what she paid for that mobile home in 1995, she actually got more in 2022. So I tell people, let's go ahead and stop that notion right now that mobile home is depreciated. I don't want to touch it. Also, let me give y'all some more game. Now, those people who may say, well, mobile homes, they're personal property, right? Mobile homes depreciate. Mobile homes, I can't take out no equity. All right, so let me stop that notion. My property right now in Dillon, South Carolina, I got it for $14,000. That property right now is worth $63,000. It's sitting on land. So what happens is you have to now retire your title and you can turn that personal property into real estate property. Now, I still have a mobile home, but it has been turned from personal into real estate property.
That's epic.
I still can go to the bank and take out $43,000 because my equity of that home is 70% of my $63,000 that the home is worth. So I tell people, let's stop all this crazy myths and notion, and those are just people who don't know anything about mobile homes. At any given moment, it's easier for people to have $5,000 than to have $100,000, $200,000, $50,000. So that's why I always tell people that mobile homes is the gateway to real estate. So before you even open that door up to go into commercial, to go into multifamily, get you a mobile home. Start building from there. Mobile homes, it's like this. Those people who's going to be watching this video, right? They're probably in the Army. If you look at the Army, right? Or I would say not even the Army, I'm going to say the military.
Okay.
Before I send a person to the Marines, to the Air Force, to infantry, right? Everybody must go through what? Basic training. Mobile home investing is your basic training grounds.
There you go.
It's your training ground. So you can do something on a much larger scale. So I'm not telling people that mobile home investing is the end all be all.
Right.
It's not. You can go out there and you can get you a hotel. You can get you an apartment complex. You can get you a mobile home park.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that's on a much larger scale, but mobile homes is going to be your basic training ground.
Yes, I have chills, like goosebumps, because I feel it. I feel the passion, number one. Number two, like transitioning a mobile home from a personal property to real property is epic, right? It has to be affixed to the land. So that whole transition is a game changer for me. That's a game changer. Now that I know that, it's a game changer. And like I told you on the phone, like my family and I will start to invest in mobile homes, a part of our portfolio. Yeah, we have other things going on, but this right here, this is that niche that everybody needs to know about. So, quick question. This is a side note. Can you put, I know the answer because I've seen it in North Carolina on the website, but can you place a mobile home on Section 8?
Yes, absolutely. So I was telling my students this, right? One of my partners, this is how beautiful relationships is. When I first got to Atlanta, man, I was introduced to a lot of people. I was new to the city. I was still fairly young. And I was practically, on my own during this time, but I was always about networking and building relationships with people. So I met this guy, his name is Brandon. I met him maybe about 5 years ago. And me and him, we just talked this past Monday. We had a very long conversation. It was at night. And I mean, we were just rekindling our fire that, was started over the years. And he said, Abdul, he said, I just want to let you know, but I just got a job working in the financial department with HUD. So HUD, for those people who don't know what HUD is, that's Housing Urban Department. Now, HUD have millions of dollars that they must give. These are grants they must give to small business owners. But one thing that we was talking about was the voucher program. So now they're not calling Section 8 anymore. They're calling it a voucher program.
Okay.
And so with them calling it a voucher program now, it's the same exact thing. They're helping people, with housing, rental assistance, and different things of that nature. But now he's in the department to be able to give me inside scoop and information that's happening. So I'm telling people right now, and I said, look, in 2023, we are going to be going crazy with Section 8. That is going to be one of the biggest things that we're going to be adding to our portfolio. Is going to be the Section 8. But yes, absolutely. If you have a mobile home, you can go ahead and you can get somebody inside the house and you can receive a voucher. The beautiful thing about it is the government, they don't miss a beat when it comes down to their payment. Okay. These other people, they may be late. The fifth may pass by. You be like, man, come on, man. I don't want to tackle an extra $50. Just pay me my money. No, the government, sometimes before the first, that night, your money is hitting your account. So this is why people love the Section 8, man.
And it's the same thing with military. So homeless military vets, it's a program called HUD VASH. And that program is locally. So you have to check with your local HUD VASH and funded by the VA. So pretty much the same regulations and rules as Section 8 to help homeless veterans. Same thing. But when I saw that on the website, because we've been doing our research, I'm like, okay, I could get a mobile home and do the same thing, help people, number one. Number two, also implement our strategy of just accumulating our properties around the area. So that's epic. Also, how do you vet your handyman? Because you did mention earlier that you do the repairs. Do you do them yourself, or do you hire out for a handyman?
Yeah. So now, years ago, I did it myself. Now I actually have an entire team that I can actually go out. Once I get the property, I give them a call. They'll fix the mobile home for me. But what I do is this is what I tell people. I said, look, there's so many different ways that you can get handyman, right? Handyman to me is actually not hard. The hardest part about getting a handyman is keeping them. And I'll touch on that as well too when I give y'all a breakdown. So what I want everybody to do is you can go to your local Facebook groups and just type in, handyman services in Atlanta, Georgia, or whatever city that you're from, right? A list of handyman groups is going to pop up. You can go ahead and you can get, accepted into this community of handymen that's all over, right? Now, whenever you are in this group, you can simply post your mobile home inside and say, look, I need X, Y, and Z fixed inside my mobile home. You're going to have a list of handymen that's going to say, look, I can do it. Before a handyman even comes out to my property, I tell them to send me a portfolio of all of the work that you have done. To me, it's a waste of time for you to come to my property and you haven't sent me a portfolio because I don't even know what type of work you are capable of doing. So I have to send a portfolio. What I like to do is I like to have 3 to 5 handymen come to my house and give me estimates. I always tell people this. I don't go with the cheapest price. And I think that's a grave mistake that a lot of people make. Everything that glitter is not always gold. Okay. And so a lot of people, they go with the cheaper price thinking that they're going to get quality work. But one thing my father taught me was when I was young, my father said, Abdul, I want you to go outside and cut the grass. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, you cut this grass. I don't got time to cut nobody grass right now. I'm tired. And we in the South and it's hot and muggy. No. So I will go outside, right? And I will literally cut the grass in like 5 minutes. I was running with the lawnmower everywhere, right? And so he would go back outside and he would see patches all over the grass. And he would say, Abdul, now, since you failed to do it the right time, the first time, I want you to go and recut the grass all over again. And so that taught me a valuable lesson in business. So when I do anything I do in business, I want to make sure I do it right the first time. So if you get a handyman to start working in your home, right, and they do a terrible job, not only do you have to fire them, but now that person who price was a little bit higher, now they're going to charge you more because they got to come back and they got to redo everything that this previous person just did. So now you're paying more money instead of just paying somebody the right price, you know, for the project in the beginning. So I always took that concept and what my father taught me into the business that I have. The next thing is, I'll touch on this. Whenever a handyman is inside of the house and they're walking around, they're doing their inspection and how much everything is going to cost, what I do is I give them a small project first. So I may give them a bathroom. I may give them a room. That's the first project I want you to do. Okay. If you are unable to do the first project, I know you're not able to do my entire home. So I'm comfortable eating the cost of a bathroom. You know, you painted on the receptacles, right? You painted on my light switches. I can eat that because I know the light switch is only $1, right? In some cases, I get them things for 57 cents. So I can eat that 57 cents. I can eat that $1. I just know that you can't paint. All right.
Right.
Therefore, I'll fire you and I get somebody else that's competent enough not to go ahead and, you know, mess it up. And what I'll do is with the next crew that comes in, I say, come here, y'all. And I'll let them know, I said, look, I'm very experienced in this industry and what I do. I would take them in the bathroom and I would say, I want you to point out the problems because now I need to know if you're competent enough to point out the problems that I see. Because if you go in that bathroom and you say, oh, there's nothing wrong, Mr. Shabazz. This is an excellent work. Then I know you can't work for me.
Yeah.
You know, if that person go in that bathroom, that person say, oh, I wouldn't dare do it like that. I would have did it like this. Oh, why did they do this? That's not a professional right there. Then I'll be like, I can work with you. I like the way how you think. And I love when people point out something that I didn't see.
Facts.
Oh, if you could point out something I didn't see, I need to hire you ASAP.
Yes.
Because in this industry, what I'm doing, I'm always learning myself. I never stop learning. So what I teach my students, I say, look, you have to become a sponge. You have to become like the scripture says, come as a child. When you come as a child, you're not trying to challenge. A child asks a lot of questions. A child is more receptible to be sat down and being taught by somebody who have the information that can teach them. And that's exactly what I do. I sit down, I learn from people, and then that's how I'm able to grow in my industry. And that's how I'm able to be an asset, not a liability.
Perfect, perfectly said. All of that. And I'm gonna use some of those tips too, especially having them point out the problems because I haven't done that. And I have not, well, I've spent a lot more money on repairs, like you mentioned earlier, just because we were first time home buyers. So it was like, okay, just come in and do it. It was a cheap price. And the model that I go by now is buy nice, not thrice, because eventually you're gonna pay even more than when just do it right the first time. Like you said, perfectly stated. So if somebody were to want to try to get into mobile home investing, where in the world would they start? How do they get started?
Yeah. So what you want to do is one of the first things you want to do is you want to make sure that you know your market. All right. I tell people all the time, you need to know your terrain. So prime example, when the heavy hitters come to Atlanta, who do they contact? They contact me. Hey, Abdul, I'm in the city. Yo, bro, let's go ahead and get some lunch. Da, 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 da. I want to talk business. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and do it. Now they're going to be asking me questions about what mobile home communities they can invest in. They're going to be asking me questions about my handyman team. They're going to be asking me a lot of questions about the Atlanta area and Atlanta market. If I'm not able to answer those questions, then now they don't look at me as a person that is valuable, right?
Expert.
So I want to make sure that everybody who gets started know your terrain. You need to know your terrain better than anybody else in your city. So one of the things that you want to do to know your terrain and know your market is you want to see what is the median income in your area. Check the median income first, because you want to make sure that you're able to sell to people who have money. That's the first thing. I need to make sure that people in this area have money. The next thing is I want to see the job opportunities. One thing that we've been hit with hard was a worldwide pandemic, which was COVID-19. We knew that the essential jobs were the only jobs that were standing. Everything else was closed down. So I want to make sure that there's a lot of essential jobs in this area, because if things close down again, there could be another outbreak that closed the country down, that closed the world down again, right? I want to make sure there's a lot of essential businesses that is in this area. The next thing is I want to make sure that I know the race that I'm dealing with. The reason why I want to know the race that I'm dealing with is because there's an area in Alabama that I invest in. It's called Phoenix, Alabama. Now, this area right here is pretty much filled with my Latino brothers and sisters. Now, I don't know how to speak Spanish. If somebody say hola, I know how to say hola as well. I know how to say mi nombre es Abdul, right? I know a little something, but that's not enough for me to communicate with my Spanish brothers and sisters. So now I know going into this area, my bandit signs may not be in English. My bandit signs may be in Spanish. So now I'm able to communicate with the people because I know the population and the race that is in this particular area. So these are the three things that you need to look out for whenever you're getting started, to make sure that, when the wheels start turning, you're able to press on the gas and you're able to go, right? Also, another thing I tell people is once you are, once you have that information done, go to Google. And when you go to Google, you want to type in mobile home parks near me. That's going to give you a breakdown of all the mobile home parks that's near you. Once you have that breakdown of all the mobile home parks near you, you're going to be kicking yourself in the behind, because you're going to find out that all of the mobile homes parks that's near you, you've been passing by every single day and didn't know that the mobile home park was behind Walmart. You didn't know that the mobile home park was behind this gas station, right? And I tell people, once you have found 10 plus mobile homes near you, all I want you to do is visit 3 of those communities. Action steps. Because people, what I found out is people are very motivated when they're hearing new information for the first time. That's whenever you're at your highest motivation level. So whenever you're at your highest motivational level, that's whenever you should take the most action. Because there's not going to be a lot of things that's going to be slowing you down, because all you're going to be thinking about is mobile homes. So while your mind is thinking about it and your subconscious mind is working for you to actually bring into existence, that's the time that you should take the most action, because that's the time you're going to see the most success. And I tell people, whenever you're not motivated, stay consistent, because consistency is always going to bring back the motivation.
Goosebumps again. Fantastic. Great information. This is facts. You spent nothing but truth. Like, this is all truth. Facts. Um, my last question is, in the thumbnail, there's a free mobile home that you got, right? So
Right.
could you run down, give a couple of gems of how do you even find these mobile homes? We know how to the budget that we would need, but how do you find them for free?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. So one thing I teach my mentees is this. I always teach them positive impact over positive impact. I mean, positive income.
Okay.
Positive impact over positive income.
Mhm.
That's going to be the biggest thing. So what I do is I go in these communities and I make sure I impact the community. Like I told
Mm.
you earlier, my father taught me to be an asset, not a liability. So when I go in these communities, I know that there's going to be it's going to be a win-win situation.
Mhm.
It's going to be a win-win situation for me because I'm able to get a mobile home, but it's going to be a
Mhm.
win-win situation to the park owner or the park manager because I'm able to take one of their distressed or dilapidated mobile homes off of their hand and I'm able to renovate it. So
Mhm.
the way I got this free mobile home right here was I started this mobile home was distressed. And I knew that the person just got evicted out of his mobile home. So I said, well, let me go ahead and add value. So what I did was I cleaned up the mobile home. I pressure washed the mobile home. I tell people all the time, if you're not willing to spend $100, you're not willing to make $1,000, or you're not ready to make $1,000. And if you're not
Mhm.
willing to spend $1,000, you're not ready to make $10,000. See,
Mhm.
making money is all about the mental. Okay. Making money is actually more spiritual than physical.
Mhm.
Some people think just because you have a physical dollar is physical. No, making money is actually spiritual. And some
Mm.
people say, dude, how is making money spiritual? I don't get that. Okay, well, prime example, right? If we use the Bible says a fool with money will soon part ways.
Mhm.
So now the Bible is telling you that you must have something up top in order for you to be able to keep the money or make the money.
Mhm.
So money is all spiritual. So I said, okay, cool. So what I did was I paid somebody $100. I paid
Mhm.
somebody $100 to pressure wash the mobile home, right? They pressure washed the mobile home. I added value to that mobile home community. Once that took place, that's whenever I acquired about this mobile home. And it was other mobile homes. The park manager got on the phone. He was so impressed. Two things happened. He was so impressed, they hired the guy who I hired to clean the mobile home,
Mm.
to work in their park. The next thing was the park manager got on the phone right in front of me, had the park owner on speakerphone. He said, hey, look, Mr. Shabazz is asking about lot number 87 and lot number 154.
Mhm.
She said, who? He said, Mr. Shabazz, the mobile home closer. She said, oh, I know who that is. Give him the mobile homes for free. Both of them.
Wow.
She said, give
Mm.
because they already saw the works that I was doing inside their community. I was
Mhm.
able to impact the community in such a positive way. And whenever that took place, now they're funneling mobile homes to me. Like I told people, I made my first 6 figures in one mobile home community. So you don't
Mm.
need a lot of mobile home communities to invest in. All you got to do is lay your nest, lay your eggs in one mobile home community and start reaping the benefits. Because once you start doing good work, the park manager or even the park owner is going to give you a call and say, Mr. Bass, now we got 3 people that's about to get evicted.
Mhm.
Can you help them out? And so what I would do is before an eviction gets placed on this person credit, I will buy the mobile home from them, take
Mhm.
care of their backlot rent
Mhm.
so that they don't, one, get evicted, and two, it don't go on their credit report. So that's why I
Right.
tell people we're literally helping people.
Mhm.
We're helping people and we're solving an affordable housing crisis all at the same exact time.
So many gems. Thank you so very much for being here, Abdul. Please plug anything you have going on, your course, everything. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I tell people this, with me, I have an excellent 18-hour course, but I tell people this, I'm like, look, if I'm ever doing a live $5 class or a live free class, I want
Mhm.
you to take that class before you take the course.
Mm.
Take that class before you take the course. I don't even like pushing the course on people because
Mhm.
I want to make sure that you are making a decision because you are ready to see a change in your life.
Awesome.
Everybody have a transformational gap. where they are and where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you figure that $5 is not sufficient enough for you to take the next leap, then you need to stay where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. And if you take the $5 class and you feel as though this information was so impactful, I want to take this leap, I want to change the condition in which I'm living in right now, then that's when I encourage a person to go ahead and get that ebook, go ahead and get that course, right? But we have an 18-hour course. The 18-hour course, it teaches you literally step by step by step. I take you to all of the websites that I use, and you literally follow me. So it's not like I just tell somebody, oh yeah, go to this place right here and you're able to find banner signs. No, I take you directly to the website. I show you how you can construct your banner signs. Everything is step by step, you know. And then of course, if the person want to take things a little bit further, we have a mentorship class. Like we actually in week 2 of one of the mentorship class that I have right now is group mentorship. But on the first week, everybody was able to hire their first person to work in their company.
Yes.
Everybody hire their first employee to work in their company. So I make sure everything that I present to the people is going to be beneficial to their pockets. It's not going to be a strain to their pockets, right? And then also, I love seeing results. I love every week when people come to class, they have an abundance of results that just took place. I love that feeling. So I set people up for success. So the main thing is, whenever you come into my program, I want to make sure I teach you how you could become the person who can do the thing. And that's what a lot of coaches don't do. A lot of coaches give a lot of material, but they have not taught the person how to become the person to do the thing. Some people just get information, but they really don't know how to actually go out there and do whatever you're telling them to do. Exactly. So I make sure that I develop you enough so you can literally become a spitting image of myself. So when you're out there in the fields, you say, oh yeah, Abdul, he said to do it like this. Let me go and execute just like that. Because I make the information so plain. And so as I'm speaking to you in this interview and the people that's going to be listening, I hope and pray that the information I gave y'all was so plain that y'all like, yo, he made it abundantly clear of how I can get started in this mobile home game, right? So yeah, that, and then on Instagram, you can follow me. You know, our followers is just growing tremendously right now. You know, I'm able to connect and meet with so many great people. So you can follow me at the Mobile Home Closers, and that's at the Mobile Home Closers with the S on the end. And just check us out. You know, we have close to 900 posts. So all you got to do is just binge watch. We have live classes that sometimes last an hour. Like, just binge watch and just see what we all about. And, you know, if you're interested, go ahead and join forces. And also they can go to my website, themobilehomeclosers.com, and find out, you know, more information. But that's pretty much how they can get in contact with me, sis.
Awesome. This interview has been a pleasure. I've learned a lot. Like I told you I was going to take notes. I got questions here, but I got notes down here. So I've taken notes of some on the back too. Abdul, thank you so very much for your time. I understand time is very precious, and thank you for sharing your time with myself and my community, my YouTube community. And I will link everything below on how to get in contact with Abdul and how to get involved and how to transform your life and invest in mobile homes. Until next time, guys, you stay blessed. Peace.
Peace.